if you come here and someone has by chance hit, it's not screaming at you. It's just going off. Like, that doesn't necessarily have to be flashing. If that's red, there's a problem. So that should never be on there unless we're here playing with it or something. You know what I mean? So in the event that your alarm isn't pulled up, someone's already acknowledged it before you, you just hit the red button again and it'll tell you again.
So what I like to do is just call one of you guys, hey, I've got an audible alarm going off. You guys, just make sure that you're aware of it, and then I'll silence it. So
I would say too, just as a personal and I guess occupational note, I mean, across the board, we are the fire alarm shop, but when you say something's an alarm, we tend to think bells and whistles, there's a fire somewhere. So if you can, when you call us, distinguish between a trouble, a supervisory, or an alarm. So if you have a supervisor, hey Dustin, I got a supervisory popped up on the panel. You say you got an alarm, I'm going to tell you to call the fire department. So.
Gotcha. My question is, let's say the fire department comes, and I'd say, well, it's a bag of popcorn. Mm-hmm. So now it's time to do it all clear.
Okay.
What buttons and who do we
talk to? If you're here at the end of the night, or you're here when we're not here, and you're the one responding, your all clear is going to be the one in blue tape right here.
Okay.
Press that, and it should cycle 3 times by itself, and then it'll cut off by itself.
Okay, and
Don't quote me on that. You may have to cut it off. I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. I can't remember.
No, you don't have to cut it off.
You don't have to cut this one off?
So I know at one time, I believe there was a book over there. We had to call a number in a book.
Yep.
Now,
you still have to call that number.
I have to call that number first, and
then log it into the book. It's over here. And that's all fire panel alarms. If there's an alarm going off, a code red, you go to it, you silence the panel, then document it. The time, the trouble code.
Silence the panel, not the alarm.
Yeah.
You only get that from the fire department. That's the only person who can make that call.
Okay, but the number that I'm talking about calling, it's in that book.
Yeah.
And I have to call that number, and what do I tell those people? That's all clear?
Yep. Send out an all clear.
So, 233-33?
Send out the all clear.
You can call 4119 and let them know as well. I mean, you'll be in contact with them on the radio, but,
Okay. I'd like to get those numbers sometime or another from you.
They're in the book.
And that's the same one.
I'll get with Matt. We should. I don't know why we haven't yet, or if we have, we should come up with a little
book
protocol pamphlet we can hang from a key ring or something.
There's a couple of procedures and policies in place.
Maybe we can laminate some small ID cards
behind you is the pro.
Yeah, but I'm actually going through all those papers trying to read.
But maybe an index card system.
A quick
look, boom, there it is.
I'll talk to Matt and see.
We have to do that. Also, when that gentleman does the tests.
No. When they're in test progress, just respond to the
where he's at.
Yes. Okay. Now, I don't know if he was talking about this before I came in here, Dustin, but when you're responding to a call, and what I generally like to do is come down to the fire panel first, see what the code is on the fire panel, and that M code will give you the identification number for your smoke head.
Right, so if you look up on that smoke detector right there, you'll see it says N3M101, I guess?
Yeah.
So if you look right here, that pull station was M284. And on that pull station, there might just be a barcode. You might not see a zone sticker like that. The smoke detectors are going to be easier to identify because they'll have a red solid light, and you'll be able to see the address, hopefully on the side of the base or something. The pull station should have the addresses too, but just in case they don't, you'll see an open pull station, hopefully.
So if these guys are here by themselves nights and weekends, and Nurse Betty burns up popcorn on the 7th floor, what should be the flow of their actions?
So immediately come here and read so you're the first responding party. So when you get here, you want to let everybody on the radio know where to go. Right, so once you let them know where to go, I would say your job would be to investigate the fire first. So especially if you're here at night, go immediately, but call the location out. and then
Come
all
here
the-
and then shoot to the location.
Yeah, and then we usually have 2 people, so we
Yeah.
got a panel guy and we got a guy outside. I don't know how many of y'all work at night.
So
here.
there used
Maybe
to
two, maybe
one, maybe 2.
there used to be
I'm
one.
here by myself.
Yeah, there used to be one, and yeah, during the day there's one guy. So if you're a single person, what I was doing when I was alone is come to the panel first, because this is where the fire department's going to come.
Yeah.
When they pull up, this is where they're coming, and then you can give them a location. You guys can go together. If you have 2, somebody comes down to the panel, and then to the active alarm going off.
What I found out most of the time is when you do that and you find out the location, and FRC, I don't know how they come up with their numbers, but they kind of say 5th floor, zone 3.
So I never listen to what FRC calls out over the radio. If they tell me there's a code red at University Hospital, you go to the University Hospital fire alarm panel and you find out what the panel says. Yeah, I trust the communications, but I don't trust the communications with the patient's lives, I guess. So, you want to be the person that calls it out over the radio.
The panel was going to give you.
And like I said, they're blind from this angle at Ashley River Tower, and they will be at Children's too. So they won't have locations popping up to them like they would at University Hospital.
Yeah.
Like if University gets a code red, they can tell you it's in the elevator lobby. They can't do that here. They can only tell you that. And they may spout off some numbers like Zone 5 or something like that, but they don't know. So just know that this is your first stop.
Well, you're by yourself, but you're really not, because
Your security response.
you got
Right,
3 different
right.
security guys up there. So
Right.
it is better to come here, and then
Yeah.
you know.
We usually have 2 people just for ease of operations. It's clear the panel. That way no one's listening to bells scream any longer than they have to. So if you're here and you've called out the location, you can go meet with the fire department, I would say, and escort them to the location. And when they give the all clear, you have someone else radio to them to silence and reset. If not, you walk down, silence, and reset. But yeah, I would say first stop, second stop.
When are you supposed to silence the alarms?
Only when the fire department gives the all clear.
Only the fire department, not security,
Right.
Yeah.
or Joe
Security.
Boffman off the street, the fire department. If you do go and you see somebody, we have contractors here on the weekends and nights also. If somebody knocks off a sprinkler head with a ladder,
Yeah.
and we know that's what the problem is.
Well, at that point, you want to get right to the valve, shut the water off.
That's what I wanted to bring up the point here,
Yeah.
because I've actually been in an active fire, and I had to show the fire department where to go to shut the valves down. At the time, I had no idea.
Right.
So we're trying to fight
So,
the location of the valves.
if you haven't gotten a digital copy by now, there is a hard copy right here. And I will even pull them out real quick. I'll show you how to read them real quick. So, let's just say you have a open head on the first floor. And the stairwell is right here. I think that's stairwell 4 or whatever. So, the pipe is traced out in its own color code. So, if you knew you broke a head, say right here at AR 1T2, that's the blue line. So your blue line is zone 1 through 4. Stair 4, that's right here. So you would run to that zone. Look for the tag. They should all have tags saying which zone they are. And you'll close that valve for that zone. I mean, it's going to take some time because you don't know, there's
A lot of stairwell.
there's a lot of stairwells, but I would say if you broke a sprinkler head, run as fast as you
So you
can.
always thinking it's in the closest stairwell. You know,
Yeah, it's in the closest
Yeah,
stairwell.
yeah.
There's a confusion sometimes in one upper because it's weird.
Yeah.
And the garage is weird.
And ground
sometimes.
level, yeah, and ground levels.
The thing you got to worry about, number 1, is patient safety. Number 1. So don't let anybody silence the alarms until you know for sure it was nurse bedding or popcorn, not something else.
Well, even as silly as it sounds, the fire department's got to give that call.
Yeah. Right. And that's why I remember when I was with you, and I think Kenny, the steam over
Yeah,
here.
Yeah.
keep asking who silent the alarm.
I was pissed because somebody silenced the panel. I didn't know who silenced the panel.
Security, they do it all the time.
So, and I was with the fire department.
Because you could smell popcorn, it could be the microwave plug
Yeah.
shortened behind the wall. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, it's popcorn.
I
You
mean, it's
guys
a pain in
walk
the
away
ass to
and
have those
it's
things
fine.
go off in the middle of the night and all weekend stuff, but it's the idea is to keep people alive, for God's sake.
When we had ours, it was in a sterile processing. that steam
Yeah.
is so close
Yeah.
to that. Are they gonna change that?
I don't know. It's every once in a while it's an issue,
Yeah.
but I guess
Yeah,
not.
those things will pick
I
up.
guess not
steam in
so
a
much
heartbeat.
so that it warrants any kind of major change or anything. I think already the space is limited on where those smoke detectors can, because they have to be a certain distance from each other. So
Yeah.
I think the limited space has already got them constricted to the areas they're in. So
And it confused me because when I went to the panel and acknowledged it, it said elevator 315 lobby,
Mhm.
and then on the other end of the panel it said normal.
okay, so what that means? Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. Okay, so right now that pull station says normal. That just means that when you open that pull station, a plunger comes out and it shorts the contact, sends an alarm. When you put it back in, it's all normal again. That's just telling you that it's good to go. Like, even though there's an alarm on the panel, the pull station is in the normal position. You wouldn't. Typically, you're not going to see normal until you know it's been reset.
What
Yeah, but it
kept-
wasn't a pull station pulled. It was
Oh,
just
the
a
smoke detector. So yeah,
Right.
so it's
It's going
not.
to say normal.
So it's still an alarm. It's still going to call the fire department, but the panel's just telling you that the conditions surrounding it are normal.
I think active is the when it's like if.
Abnormal.
Oh yeah, maybe it's abnormal.
Yeah, abnormal would be the condition.
But why did it say lobby? Instead of-
It's just the outside.
350
front.
was the door in front of the.
That's what
the-
confused me. It said lobby, but it's inside sterile processing.
Well, that elevator-
Every elevator has a lobby.
The elevator 315 is a dirty elevator, which is in the sterile process.
Yeah.
And so they just
Put it lobby.
recognize,
Yeah, that's what
address it as a
confused me.
lobby.
Because we're thinking over here.
Yeah.
315 is a tricky elevator.
This one says 316.
Right,
So
then you got
if
301
if look
beside
over
it.
there, you'll see your elevator
Funky
numbers
numbering.
on that panel over there.
It's all right, Marlon. We're just doing movies.
Well, what kept its steam was hot enough for it to go out. What kept the water or the sprinkler from going off?
No,
So
for heat.
it's not heat that sets off the smoke detector, it's particulate matter. And when those vapors pass in front of a beam, it obscures a certain amount of light and it sends the detector into an alarm.
That
So
plastic
it's
piece
not
has to
actual-
melt.
yeah.
Glass piece.
Yeah,
Oh,
real
the-
red
So
piece
in
of it.
on a heat detector, you would be looking at heat being the activator.
Okay,
They can show you on the smoke jet over there.
yeah, it's a little red or blue or something.
See the one up there?
Plastic piece up there.
See one up there?
Yeah.
It's got a red.
Right there.
It's got to
Yeah.
pop that cylinder
Oh.
with enough heat before the water starts coming out.
Yeah, I'm just saying because sometimes
I wonder how hot that steam gets coming
Yeah,
out.
it can get pretty hot.
That's pretty.
They get pretty hot.
Yeah.
At least 212
Not
degrees.
hot enough to
Yeah.
melt the plastic, though.
Not enough to melt the glass.
Apparently
No.
not. Everybody understands now the elevators won't go to a lobby that a smoke head is active in, right? It will not go to that lobby, right? Everybody understands that. And doors should shut. The mag should release first an alarm. If it don't, there's a problem.
Now, floor above and below. So if you have a activation on the second floor, third and first will drop doors. Fourth will not. Fifth will not. Any other questions? I appreciate
No.
bringing the normal abnormal thing. That's important. As long as that light's red, there's a problem. So don't let that normal abnormal fool you. I mean, it can help you, but first things first. There's a fire alarm on the panel.
All right, Kenny brought up a question I think would be good since you're going through this thing, that we actually go to a stairwell and put your hands on what valves we need to, if this was the sprinkler head in the east, forward, west,
So I think
whatever.
it's a great idea.
And then what would drain?
I
What
think
could
it's a
open
great
up
idea
drain?
for each of you guys to know where your valves are in your zone, because we're not always here during the day. So
These
I
guys have
think,
the whole building. We nights and weekends. They got the whole building.
yeah, I think it would be great if they knew exactly what zone was theirs and
Yeah.
where that ended
Look in
and
the
began.
stairwell.
So,
And like everything else, when it transitions from zones A and B, if it's in that section right there,
Turn
sometimes
both off.
it can be confusing
Turn
because
both off.
you might go to where you
Yeah.
think you're in the A section, and it's
go where
actually
your
that.
gut tells you first, and run to the next one and shut it off if it didn't.
Especially on the fourth floor. I
Yeah.
think in this stairwell right here.
Well, the fourth floor is where the chapel is at, the waiting area is at, and I think we thought it was feeding from that one and actually fed from the center stairwell. We thought it fed from the
Yeah.
A section in the corner right there, and it didn't.
Yeah. Fourth floor is